a blog, a breast cancer blog, about life after treatment, not during treatment. And so I had decided that I was going to that maybe I would turn this blog into a book, right? And I went to a publisher, and he said to me, Charlene, everybody writes a cancer memoir. You know, they're a dime a dozen. And I'm thinking, well, maybe to you, but not to me.
Right.
You know, but I thought about it a bit more, and I thought, you know, I have a new voice. I've always had a voice, but I have a new voice, and it's more powerful. And I have a lot to say, because, you know, coming up through the ladder, and you know, as you're a young professional or mid-career professional, you go to these, you know, these events and these panels where women talk about their experiences, and so often they gloss over them. So you're left feeling that, oh, it must just be me. This must just be about me. And I remember being in my 30s and saying, you know, if I'm ever in that position, I'm going to tell the unvarnished truth, because I don't want people to think that they're alone. And so when I found that voice, I realized I had a lot to say about a saner way to climb the corporate ladder, and also about breast cancer and life after breast cancer. You know, and in many ways, you know, as a woman in business, you know, you're constantly told, directly or indirectly, that you're not enough. When you have cancer, and particularly I think breast cancer for women, you come out of it, and sometimes you don't feel like you're enough then either, right? And so I really wanted to help people reclaim their career and their life, and to do it unapologetically, you know. And I know I just get so excited about that, about my new mission in life. But I certainly wouldn't have gotten there if I hadn't had the journey that I did.
Totally. I often tell the women in our community that, you know, healing breast cancer is not just about getting rid of the lump or the bump, right? It's about a complete transformation, because what led, you know, your lifestyle and the way you lived your life, what led to that breast cancer diagnosis, you know, can be changed going forward, because you don't want to go back into that same lifestyle. Now, do you feel that the corporate stress and the job stress was instrumental or had a part in your developing breast cancer?
I do, actually. And, you know, one area in my book where I talk about is that in order to move forward, I had to forgive myself for getting breast cancer. You know, and people say, what are you talking about? You had nothing to do with that. And maybe intellectually I didn't, but I think for all of us women who carry a lot of stress, who do more than we should, who eat on the run, you're traveling around the world, you know, you're trying to do it all. Deep down inside, we think that we've compromised our health in some way, our wellness, that has led to at least a weakening of our immune system that allowed that cancer to grow. And you know, when I was diagnosed and talking with my breast surgeon, and we all know when you're first diagnosed, you have a lot of doctor's appointments. And the first thing I did was had the double mastectomy. And before my surgeon operated on me, she said, Charlene, you need to take the time off of work during your treatment, because you will not get better if you don't. You know, and I thought, that's so silly. What are you talking about?
And I can answer phone calls while I've got chemo IV on my arm.
Right, exactly. You know, I can text from, you know, from the infusion center, you know, and which you can't. But you know, she said, every time I come in here and see you for your appointment, you're putting your phone down, you know, or you're picking your phone up, or you're doing something. You are constantly multitasking. And she said, what that tells me is that the stress is going to still be there if you continue to work while you're going through your treatment. And I was very fortunate at the time to be an executive and work for a company that gave me the room to take 7 months off.
Wonderful, wonderful. Now, you wrote this book because you wanted to, you know, empower other women to be able to, you know, understand and to live their life with purpose unapologetically. And you have three main messages that you like to
Mhm.
impart to your audiences. What would those messages be?
I always tell people that at the very basics, the very foundation, to understand that you are enough, right? Women, I believe the last study I read said that 80% of women suffer from imposter syndrome, no matter how successful we are. And, you know, that's a really high number. And for teenagers, I don't have to tell you, for teenage girls, it's in the 70s. So
Yeah.
there's all these women who are just working so hard and doing their best to be their best and carrying around this baggage of they're not enough. They're in a proving mode, and just because someone tells you that you're a certain way or that you are something doesn't mean that you have to own it and become it, right? It's more of a reflection on them than it is on you. So I really like to instill that in people. I have this saying that